is a case that most of us will encounter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, during our school days. So let's just talk about what's happened in this case study. You first.
Before that, since I want our discussion to be well organized, so maybe we should illustrate our own idea from opinion. Yeah, one by one, then we'll discuss them.
Yeah.
Discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
first talk about what happened in this scenario.
Yeah, oh, who want to be the first?
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
The situation is that when Steve, who is a student in pre-medical major, he have a physical course and he have to pass this course, and this course was tough, and even that he spent a lot of time to study for this course. In the exam he faced problem to solve 3 questions because he need a big formula or complex formula to solve this question, and he tried to cheat in the exam when the professor leave the room because he was busy, he had other stuff to do, and Steve, he opened the box and cheat the formula, and he solved the problem, and the professor, he didn't know that. This is the problem.
That's a the thing happened. And
what do you think? What's happened?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think you have tell all the details about it.
So let's move to the next question. What's the problem? Tell what's the biggest problem in the scenario?
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem in the scenario is that Steve just consult or look at his textbooks to look for the formula on the exam when his professor walks out, right? So he's cheating. So that's the biggest problem, I think.
Cheating, yeah.
What about you, Harry?
Yeah, I think he was anxious about remembering the formulas before the test. Though he spent a lot of time studying on the exam, but he was still anxious about remembering the formulas. So I think that's the reason why he didn't memorize the whole formulas, and he had to cheat to pass the exam.
I'm thinking of that. Whether it is a problem of the professor or the exam itself. Maybe the professor is very strict to his students usually in Euro class time, and maybe the exam this exam is very difficult or tough for the students.
You mean the professor? You mean the exam?
The exam itself and the professor is
too
hard, too difficult for the students, current level.
Yeah.
And how about you? What do you think other problem in this case study?
Henry, he said that he is anxious, I think because he spent a lot of time, that means he studied very well. But maybe because he was anxious, he don't remember. I think he have to relax.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You mean it is Steve's own problem. Maybe he has he hasn't psychologically well prepared, right? He's too anxious, right? So maybe he can relax, or he can do some exercise after and before the exam. And what's the problem? What are the problem? Do you think? I think another problem is the professor. The professor shouldn't walks out during the exam. It's his duty to monitor all the class, all the students to do the exam.
He helped him.
And
to
cheat, maybe the problem of the professor.
So I think That's all.
What do you think? How we can solve this problem?
And I'm thinking of another problem. you can see that the Steve's textbook is near.
Yeah,
it's just nearby him, right? Maybe it's a professor's duty responsibility to let all the students to put their textbooks or something related to the text paper, some notebooks or something like that. Just put them in front of the classroom, right? Just in a separate place. In that way, the students have no chance to consult their textbooks. Right?
And referring to the textbook, I noticed that Steve makes some here. He flips to some marked pages. So he marked some pages, maybe the complex formula.
He already prepared for the sheet.
Yeah, maybe.
He was ready.
Maybe
before then.
Yes.
But I think that the professor, if the student have a lot of complex formula, I think he have to give him chance to bring one paper.
Oh yeah.
You write all formula, complex formula.
Well, I had
to help him.
Analytical chemistry exam yesterday, and our professor is send us handout us one page with all the formulas.
I think the professor has to do like this because he spent a lot of time and he cannot remember the formula.
And the formula is solid. We can look for them when we need. So maybe we have no need to memorize all of them.
Okay, then let's move to the third question. How could the problem be solved? Describe several different ways the problem could be solved. You first. Your solution.
Why first? First I think to prevent students from cheating, I think the professor should be at least should be there. Should
monitor the classroom.
Yes, and maybe take away their textbooks away. I think that's a basic way.
And I think that even the professor works out. I think there might have some monitoring system. The monitoring the
right, exactly.
electronic monitoring system in the classroom, maybe on some corners, and in this way, even the professor works out. The students they don't how to say.
I think
they don't
have chance to cheat.
I think in this situation you can make stress on the students. It's not a good way.
It's not good.
It's monitored.
It will put a big stress on students.
You will big stress.
Big stress. But I think it's easier for professor to monitor even he works out. Right? He can monitor the students just he's sitting in his office maybe something. And what's your solution?
I think the student have to memorize the formula before the exam. Spend more time in formula.
Okay, but you can know if you will be too anxious to remembering to recall all the formulas. So.
And you just mentioned that it's because the students is very anxious and nervous, right? And I think of a solution that the students can. The professor can tell his students that the exam is not very difficult and tell them just relax, and maybe the professor can list out some useful formula that might be useful on this exam before the exam, and let students to remember those formulas and tell them that the exam will just test using certain formulas from this list. So in this way, the student can be more relaxed and
I think also the professor have to make one class before the exam to solve the problem, to help the student know it's the important formula. To be familiar with the formula. I think you have to spend more time solving the problem.
Solving the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, how can we discuss about the pros and the cons of our solution? Okay. So
First.
how about my solution?
Yeah. You say the one sheet problem.
What? My solution, you can discuss the pros and the cons of my. My solution is professor.
Formula.
Yeah.
You have to bring one.
Oh yeah.
A professor shouldn't walk out, right?
Yeah, shouldn't leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
How to say? I think sometimes if the teacher or the professor stands close to their students during the exam, the students will even more nervous. Even more nervous or even more anxious, right?
Like you say,
yeah,
you have to meditate. That will make them anxious.
They have more pressure.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think the professor he gives the trust in the student. The student they shouldn't cheat in the exam. He left the room because he gives the trust to the student they will not cheat, and the student cheat.
So that's a disadvantage of your solution. That the students will become more nervous.
Yeah.
If the professor sit beside them, right? Stand beside them.
Okay.
Yeah, but the professor, maybe some students have some question about the exam.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
the
easier
professor
for the
can
student.
help him
Yeah.
to know the.
Yeah.
If
So
have
that's
some
an
problem.
advantage.
Yeah. So that during yesterday's exam, where actually our professor wasn't there. He asked one of his student, maybe second year graduate student, to be there to monitor us, and
or ask the GTA or some people to monitor
monitor.
students.
So maybe
this is a good basic.
Yeah, maybe a student who's sitting in front of the classroom and
not become so nervous.
yeah, you won't become so nervous, and you can reach the our professor said you can feel free to call me if anything happens
during exam. Yeah, it's an alternative way.
Yeah.
And so
also there is the advantage of this solution. Maybe some students want to go to restroom and the professor is not there.
Yeah.
They want to go out and maybe they think he's cheating. If you have
another
student maybe have urgent, he want to go to bathroom.
Yeah.
And the professor is not there. It's the
So
problem, I think.
How do you think of my solution? That is, I mean, installing some electronic monitoring systems in the classroom. How do you think of it? It's not practical. Why? Because I think that nowadays the technology is so developed that it's
technology.
Yeah, it's every classroom maybe have some monitoring systems, right?
Yeah, but if there's, for example, if there's some
monitoring
on
our head.
I think it's a little weird to in the classroom, and
it's
not a
the
deal.
biggest example is camera.
Right, exactly, exactly.
You cannot start.
Maybe you mean that the students will still feel nervous.
Nervous, when you something
unnatural.
And the cost is high.
Maybe the cost.
Expensive. Think about the cost of the system. I mean, every classroom you should. So that's a big.
But there is advantage to monitor the room. Sometimes you need to know what's happening in this room. You can watch the TV to watch the.
It's very convenient.
Yeah,
it's very convenient, and the teacher or the professor don't have to find someone else to monitor the classroom, right? It's very.
But what if the student had some problems, had some questions about the exam? The people, so they have.
that's another disadvantage. Yes. And
Beep 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 beep.
how about his
Beep 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 beep.
Time's
how
up.
about his